Hello YouTube, it is Liam, the Deaf Doom Metalhead, back with a new video after being away for a week with the family. I had a great week away, I did loads of cool stuff, and it's the first holiday I've had in at least 2 or 3 years, and it really sorted me out. Been away in the woods for a week, no Wi-Fi, and if I did it was very shit, so I'm well behind on YouTube videos, so I've been catching up a lot on that. And yeah, it has been really nice. So if you follow me on social media, you already kind of know what I got up to and some of the crazy things we did. But this is a cool video for me because it is more of a giving back video and a saying thank you. So all the things I'm going to show today are gifts from either a fellow YouTuber, friends that I've never met, and record labels that appreciate what I do on this channel, which is amazing for me. And you know, that's the whole reason I do it, is just to talk about metal. There's no demand or I want something, I just want people to check out these bands. And all of these things I'm going to show today, hopefully something from this video you'll take away and you'll love it. Now, I must say that a lot of these that I got sent, I've listened to before in the past, but I was one of those LimeWire kids back in the day. So in the 2000s, I was downloading music on my parents' computer. I was buying CDs, but the more obscure stuff, I didn't collect it back then. And as the years went on, moving house, I didn't have the space, so I was an MP3 guy for many years. But these gifts, all these, and none of these I had. I mean, I've heard a few of them, but all these are new. And there's one tape here, which I'll start off with, which was a gift, which is probably the newest thing out of this whole lot. Yeah, in fact, it is the newest thing in this whole lot. So, this came from Germany. I don't know the chap's name, but I've been talking to him a fair bit on Instagram. He runs the label of Death Scream Recordings, which is a small independent German metal label that kind of specialises in the more obscure, you know, really out there kind of bands that kind of push the boundaries of what normal music should sound like, really. And it's quite cool, also very niche. So, you know, he's not doing it to make money, he's just doing it to get that music out there. And he said to me, I've got a tape for you I want to send you just as a thank you for what you do, which to me was amazing. Totally unnecessary, but very grateful. And it was this album here by a band called Funeral for a Wizard. It's an American one-man project. And what I could describe this as is very lo-fi, doom metal, very sludgy. There's elements of black metal in there, which you can kind of guess by that cover. I love the cover. But it's a bit more than that. It's very lo-fi, so it sounds like you kind of record it on a mobile phone almost when you're in the rehearsal space, like I do, to kind of write riffs. But it's got that edginess to it as well, so it kind of fits the theme of the band. And the tape, it looks amazing. So the tape is like that, kind of a clear with a kind of glittery effect. None of my tapes I have look like this. So what I will say about Death Scream Recordings is their tapes look killer, absolutely killer. That's the second one I've got from them now, and yeah, really impressed. Sounds great. And, you know, it's not dodgy, it's not too low in the volume, all that kind of thing. It plays perfectly. But yeah, a really nice gift, and that was all I was expecting. But what he also sent me was this Hallowed Butchery t-shirt. Now, I mentioned this band in a video a couple of weeks ago, and look at that, Deaf to All. So my wife absolutely loves that t-shirt. I can't wear it out and about in case it cause a hate crime or something like that, was her words. So that was quite funny. So I have been shopping with it, but I had to wear a hoodie, which was really funny. And he also sent me this really cool patch, which is a winter, if you know that band, the Death Doom band, winter inspired patch that is going on my battle jacket. He also sent me a little flyer and some stickers which are on the flight case over there. So all used, all really grateful, and I'm a happy man. So that is probably the newest thing out of this whole video. So thank you to Death Scream Recordings. Go support the label. I'll obviously leave links below. Go follow that shit. Right, next lot is 6 CDs that were sent to me by my friend Simon, who goes by the name Pieface. He watches my YouTube videos, but he has way more knowledge than me. He's a proper old school collector, has a vast knowledge across the board of metal, and it's just a top bloke all in all. He sent me a package before, and he said to me again randomly in an email, he just emails me saying, oh dude, I'm posting you a package with some CDs that I've got duplicates of, enjoy, and hopefully you'll, you know, if you have them, you pass them on. But all 6 CDs I don't have, what I have now, and it blows me away. Simon, you're such a nice bloke. I can't thank you enough for these, because I mean, one in the background now that's playing is what I'm going to show first, and you know, all new to me, but I love all of them. So this one is an American death grind band proper grindcore, as you can probably hear, but it has elements of doom in there, black metal, death metal. There's a lot more going on than just straight up blasts. I love it. It is really cool because it's got that nice blend. As you can see, it slows down a bit. And that is the band, if I get the name right, Circle of Dead Children. This is their latest release from 2010, and it's called The Psalm of the Grand Destroyer. And it's killer, absolutely killer. Love every minute of it. It's not boring at all. I mean, grindcore I give it a take with me. I like it, but some of them are just too much for me. But this, the blend, the crunchiness, the guitar tone, the kick drum sounds fucking immense. Vocals are really low and guttural. You know, I love it. Absolutely love it. So yeah, if you've never checked that out before, go check that out. That is a really, really cool album, as you can probably hear. Now, he also sent me some Belphegor. I love Belphegor, seen them live, but again, I didn't own anything by them prior to this, and I discovered this CD is my favourite Belphegor album, and I didn't even realise it. The album is called Goatreich Fleshcult, which looks like that, and this is awesome, absolutely awesome. I mean, the song on here, I forget which one it was, but I heard it live and I knew the song and I listened to it on Spotify, and yeah, I didn't twig until I listened to the album that it was on here, and I listened to the whole, you know, I listened to albums all the way through when I put them on in here, and yeah, I discovered this was my favourite Belphegor album, so thank you, Simon, for that, because I did not know that. So that was a cool little thing to figure out. But yeah, absolutely killer. If you've never heard of Belphegor, they're an Austrian death metal band, elements of black metal in there, put on an amazing live show. It's very based on the imagery and the atmosphere. It's really, really cool. And yeah, fucking awesome. And then he shifts gears. It's just not all extreme metal. There is elements of other styles, and this is doom band Pallbearer, American band that kind of play, it's doom metal, but it's more, if you like Mastodon, like later Mastodon, they have that vibe to them. Very clean singing driven, big crusty kind of guitars, very fuzzy sound, and not death metal-y kind of guitar tones, if you know what I mean. It's more in the vein of like fuzz rock kind of style. This was put out through Nuclear Blast in 2017, using notes again. And yeah, a lovely little album. Really like Pallbearer. I've listened to them for a fair few years now, and again, never owned anything by them. One of my MP3 kind of bands I just shoved on a hard drive when I had my iPod. I used to just kind of play randomly, and yeah, really enjoyed that. He also sent me this band, which I've been meaning to check out for a while now, and is a band, when I think I put out a new one last year maybe, and it didn't really click with me, but this one really clicked with me, and it's probably my favourite of the bunch for just, you know, a new musical experience. And that is Sojourner, try and pronounce that right, probably haven't, with The Shadowed Road. This was put out through Avantgarde Music in 2018, and it's like a melodic kind of black metal with a bit of symphonic elements in there. It's a bit of everything really, and it's a weird band as well because they're based in the USA, Sweden and New Zealand of all places, so very much across the globe kind of band. How you do a project like that I do not know, but they do it well because the music on here is superb. Comes in like this really nice digibook, which I quite like. Can't replace it if it gets damaged mine, but when the artwork is absolutely killer. And yeah, an album I'd never heard before, or a band I've never heard before really, until, well, properly anyway, maybe a sample, a track or two, but this was really, really good from start to finish. Loads of melodies on here, and as a guitar player I really enjoyed listening to the kind of technicality of it. So yeah, go check that one out if you haven't, because that was really, really good. And then he sent me a band I'm very aware of, but an album again I didn't realise he put out, and I have about 4 albums of theirs in my collection. I now have 5, and that is the band The Drowning with Full Jerusalem Full. Now, The Drowning are a Welsh death doom band here in the UK. Played with these guys a few times. This was put out through Casket Music. I don't know if that label still exists, but there's a lot of UK bands on that label. So if you see that, it's normally a UK band or some really obscure band. This is okay, not their best work. I mean, they really came into effect for me on probably their 4th, 5th album. There's one with like a stone on it, I can't remember the name of it. But it's enjoyable, but it doesn't really go anywhere. And I've got the first 2 albums as well, and they don't really go anywhere. And you can kind of hear the band's progression for each album. So that was quite cool to listen to. this one because I didn't even know it existed, and it is much in that early vein as well, where it's there, but they haven't really got into effect. And like their latest album from last year or the year before was really strong. So go check out some Drowning if you haven't before. And the last one he sent me was this really cool one. Again, a very, very popular album, everyone's heard it. And that is Divinity with In Sorte de Bollock, Diable, I don't know. You know me, I can't pronounce album titles. Again, an album I'm very aware of. You know, this was on Scuzz TV in the UK all the time. You know, all the videos, all the grand fireworks, all that kind of thing, and the music videos. Seen them live at least twice, I think, at festivals. And yeah, I like Divinity. I prefer the earlier stuff, but this is a classic album. Everyone knows the songs on this, even though if you pretend you don't like it, you know the words to all the songs and all the riffs. So yeah, really, really cool album to have. You know, like I said, I've streamed this MP3 wise for years, so to have it physically, really, really cool. So thank you, Simon, for all of them. Really, really appreciate that, mate, as you already know, because I've told you 100 times. It's just insane, the generosity. Now, moving on to the next pile, and this is the last pile. This was a trade between YouTuber Brendan Von Doom. I will leave a link to his channel above my head now. He's an Aussie bloke who likes his thrash metal. He's a proper thrash metal fan. And he got a box or a crate of CDs of some dude in Australia, and it had loads of death metal in it. Now, he isn't a death metal guy pretty much at all. I mean, he'll dabble in it now and again, but he'll be honest with you, he's more of a thrash guy, hard rock. That's his wheelhouse, you know. And all these albums he sent is a ridiculous pile. I didn't realise there was going to be this many. He sent them, and you can see why he didn't like them. They're proper on the extreme side of things. And I'll kick off with the first one, and that is Italian's Hidious Divinity. This one came out in 2014 for Unique Leader Records. Now, if you don't know who Hideous Divinity are, you could say they're almost like Fleshcult Apocalypse to a point. They're a very technical death metal band without the symphonic elements to it. These guys are more straight up brutality. I discovered these guys a couple of years ago. They put out an album in 2019 which I really liked, and this one I hadn't heard before, and I probably actually prefer it to that one. Very, very just angry, good death metal. You know, it flows really well, it's technical, the drums sound killer. So if you never checked out Hideous Divinity before, go check them out, because if you like Italian death metal, you know, these guys will be right up your street. He sent me 3 Hate Eternal albums. Now, I love Hate Eternal. Again, a band I've never owned anything by, just purely because I have the MP3s back then, and why would I bother? Eric Rutan, who's now in Cannibal Corpse, a massive inspiration on me watching kind of death metal bands, because just the way he plays. He was in Morbid Angel, and he recorded Domination and Covenant, which are 2 of my favourite Morbid Angel albums, especially Domination. That's my favourite. He's in that video for Where the Slime Lives, and he also played on their tour when they got back together years later. And when I was watching YouTube back in college, that video of them in Wacken playing Where the Slime Lives, that most people probably have seen on YouTube, he's on there banging his head, and I remember that vividly. Now, Brendan sent me 3 of their albums. This one came out in 1999, and that is Conquering the Throne. This one features Gerard Anderson, who would later go on to being in Morbid Angel for a little while on bass. He also fronted the band, but he's not recorded anything by them. Gerard Anderson is no longer with us, sadly, but he is a really good vocalist. So if you can go on YouTube and find him doing Morbid Angel stuff, he's also obviously in Hate Eternal, and I think he was also in another band. Phenomenal vocalist, really cool bass player. And also has Tim Yun, who was in also Morbid Angel for a little while. Really good death metal drummer as well. So that is a really good album. He then sent me, I think this one's 2005's, yeah, through Earache. This one's called I Monarch. This one is, I wasn't really au fait with this one. It's one of the ones that kind of, I didn't realise I knew it existed. There's quite a few Hate Eternal albums, and I couldn't even tell you who was on this one. But I think it's Derek Roddy on drums maybe on this one, I'm not sure. But a really good album. But Hate Eternal, they don't really change their style, so if you like Hate Eternal, you'll like all their albums, because they're pretty much the same. But this one stood out the most to me. This one's called Fury in the Flames, that came out in 2008. This one stood out the most because it features Alex Webster on bass, obviously very famous for being in Cannibal Corpse. You can see him there. And also, I forget who the other guitar player is, but he's been in quite a few death metal bands over the years. And there's a little homage to Jarden there, who passed away sadly. So really good album. Go check that one out of all three of them. Probably check that one out the most, because that one is killer. Right, then he sent me some Canadian death metal in the form of Cryptopsy. I love Cryptopsy, amazing band, send them live as well, fucking phenomenal band. This is a 4-track EP through Galy Records. Never knew this existed. I thought it was a bootleg at first, but it's not. What it is a re-recording of some earlier Cryptopsy tracks with Lord Worm on vocals. Yeah, and it's just killer. It's got Steve Tobolt, Dave Galia, Flo obviously, and Kevin Weigel. So if you know any of them guys, there you go. So yeah, love that. That was really good. Very quick listener, obviously 4 tracks, but it's got Avantgarde, Back to the Worms, Mutant Christ, some of the really old school stuff. So yeah, really pretty cool. Then some, I think these guys are Swedish. Yeah, Swedish tech death. Never owned anything by these guys before. Meshuggah, which catch Thirtythree. Yeah. This band I like and I don't like. The time changes in the way they play. It confuses the fuck out of me because I'm such a simple-minded guitar player. I play 4/4s. You know, I really struggle with time changes, like the way they do it. It's really complicated to learn on the guitar, and my little brain can't handle it. But this was put out through Nuclear Blast Records in 2005. I like this a lot. Surprised myself how much I like this. But again, a band that I don't really dabble in because a lot of their stuff sounds very samey. And once you've heard one, you've heard them all in my head. But I like Obzen. That's probably the most notable album I can remember from them. But yeah, some Meshuggah there. Really appreciate that. Then he also sent me some Serpentine Dominion. Now, I was aware of this project when it started, and I was kind of a bit on the fence if I was going to like it or not. This features members from Killswitch Engage and a few other bands, but the notable one was called Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse doing vocals on it. And it's kind of like a melodic death metal album with Corpse Grinder on it, so he kind of bellows over the top of all these riffs. And the guy from Killswitch Engage, the one with the gases, he's a very good guitar player. I know that much. And it was just really cool to hear their take on death metal, as it were. Very melodic. There is some singing parts in it that I instantly switch off. Like, I just can't stand that kind of American in metal. That's a brilliant soundbite if anyone captures that. But yeah, the Corpse Grinder stuff I really like, and it is very heavy. So go check that out if you haven't, because it's quite a good listen. Bit iffy for me. Now, this one was a complete, I didn't have a clue what it was, so I had to research it. A self-released album as far as I'm aware, and this is like blackened death metal straight from Australia. This is Nocturnal Ashes with Pathways to Hell. Now, I swear Brendan showed this in a video a while ago, and he was gifted to it by the band to kind of show on his YouTube channel to kind of promote them. And I can see why he might like it and might not like it. I'm fairly sure he probably didn't like it because it's very, very heavy, and I like it a lot. And it was a really good listen. I've had about 3 or 4 spins of this already because I didn't have a clue what it was. I've never seen it before. Like, it's a self-released Aussie band. Very hard to obviously hear that here in the UK unless it's on streaming platforms and you know who they are. So that was a nice surprise because I had no idea what I was in for. And looking at the cover, I kind of thought it was going to be some lo-fi, shitty black metal, but it really wasn't. It's some very good death black metal. You know, very heavy, very crunchy, well produced. So go check them out if you haven't. No idea if this is in stock anywhere or where you can get it from, but I know it's good. So yeah, my recommendation from that. Then he sent me my favourite Nile album, which I've been meaning to pick up for years. Been holding out for it on vinyl, but the price of it is insane. So, you know, I don't care anymore. I've got it on CD and I'm happy. And that is Nile's To Those Whom the Gods Detest. Absolutely superb album from Nile. Obviously American death metal, Egyptian themed. Everyone knows Nile. You know, George Glass on drums, you know, he's the absolute god behind the kit, you know, fastest man on the planet in my eyes. And then you've got Carl Sanders just keeping it really real. Seeing these guys live, and they are a fun death metal band live. Like, it's just pure energy. There's no seriousness, bullshit. It's just pure fun, and they're really enjoyable to watch. I saw them a couple of years ago on the release of their new album. But yeah, I mean, my favourite track on this is the really long one, 4th Hour of Dagon, with that really chuggy bit right at the end. I fucking love that. I crank that up all the time when that comes on. So yeah, love me some Nile. And then he sent me some more Italian death metal in the vein of Fleshcult Apocalypse. A band, again, I'm very aware of. A few of the guys in Consecration are big fans of these. Shane, notably, the bass player. Technical death metal again, but with more of a symphonic element to it. Not the biggest fan of these guys myself, but I can appreciate the talent, and you know, they have a big following, and for a big reason, because they are phenomenal musicians. The guitarist, who then switched to drums, is just insane how he can do both. He's just so fucking good at it. And this album came out in 2011 through Nuclear Blast, and yeah, really good, solid melodic death metal with that kind of symphonic element, which I kind of give or take sometimes. But when I had the Dimmy Borgir album on, I chucked this one afterwards, and it kind of blends very nicely together with the symphonic elements. So a good listen. And the last one, which I can't remember if he showed me it or not, I can't remember the picture, but is Aborted with Global Flatlines. This came out through Century Media in 2012, I believe. I'm not sure if this is a repress, I can't really remember. But this is killer. I love Aborted. Really good kind of grindy death metal band. Really popular now. I mean, back when I first started listening to them, they were quite low tier, you know, underground almost. They are from Belgium, and they've just gone from strength to strength to strength, and now they're like one of the biggest death metal bands out there. I mean, the albums they chuck out now, the artwork, the merch, everything is on point. I've seen them live, I think twice as well, and they're a really good live band as well. So if you've never checked out Aborted, don't be put off by the band title, because yeah, it is a bit out there if you're just a normal bloke that likes metal, but you know, the music is absolutely killer. Really, really good death metal band. So yeah, that's my little, I say little, it's a massive haul. So Brendan, thank you for sending me all these. Obviously he sent them without cases, he's clever, because shipping from Australia would be horrendous. But yeah, really, really appreciate it. Plenty of listening, and I've got a good chunk of new music to share in future videos. Vinyl is probably going to be the next one. I've got a load of UK death metal stuff to show, and then some more stuff I've picked up randomly. So if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and liking this video if you have watched it, because it helps me a lot. Hopefully this comes out alright, because I dropped my phone like a mon yesterday while rehearsing, and it fell flat on my wah pedal and cracked the whole screen. It looks okay, but until I start editing it and I upload it, I've got no idea. So in the meantime, I hope you're all well, take care, and I'll speak to you guys in the comments. Cheers.